In the sands of time, there was a man whose destiny nearly rewrote the course of humanity. This is the epic of Adapa, the mortal who defied the gods, the sage who verged on immortality, and the man whose choice defined the legacy of civilization. Enter the story of a man who, with his courage and wisdom, dared to question the divine order, an epic journey through the heavens, where Adapa will face the gods and his inner demons. Will he achieve immortality or be forced to accept his mortal condition? In the fertile lands of Mesopotamia, by the waters of the Euphrates, stood the ancient city of Eridu, the cradle of wisdom and home of the god Ea, also known as Enki, master of the arts and protector of mankind. Among its inhabitants, Adapa stood out, a man of great wisdom and heart, recognized as one of the first Apkallu, beings of great intellect chosen by the gods to guide men. Adapa was endowed with superhuman intelligence, but not with immortality. As a priest of the temple of Ea, Adapa was not only dedicated to spiritual tasks, but also to fishing. This work provided him with sustenance and allowed him to be in contact with the element of his god, water. Every dawn, before the sun gilded the waters of the river, Adapa would set out in her small boat, relying on her knowledge of the currents and the patterns of the fish. His net, woven with the precision of a craftsman and blessed by Ea, rarely returned empty. The people of Eridu depended on his skill to provide them with food, and he never failed them. Adapa was known for his connection to the natural world, able to read the signs of the sky and river as if they were ancient cuneiform texts. This ability came from his creator, Ea, who had granted him prodigious intelligence but denied him immortality. Despite this, Adapa found solace in the daily routine and the serenity offered by the flowing water. The temple of Ea, where Adapa exercised his priestly functions, was a place of great knowledge and learning. There, the secrets of the universe were revealed to those who sought the truth, and Adapa was the most revered teacher. His teachings went beyond religion. They were lessons about life, nature, and human existence. The days passed placidly for Adapa, immersed in his duties as head priest of the temple of Enki. Each morning he would embark on his modest fishing boat, heading out into the waters of the Persian Gulf, in the hope of getting a good catch to offer at the altars. As Adapa sailed, the south wind, ruled by the goddess Ninlil, arose with unexpected fury. The waves, agitated by the force of the wind, became giants that threatened to engulf everything in their path. Adapa, although an expert navigator, was surprised by the sudden storm, and his boat was overturned by the violence of the wind. Emerging from the depths, Adapa faced the south wind with an anger that matched its strength. In his fury, he uttered words of power, ancient curses that only a being of his wisdom could know. With these words, Adapa broke the wings of the south wind, and as a consequence, the wind ceased to blow. For 7 days, the world experienced an unnerving calm, a silence that presaged the wrath of the gods. Anu, the sky god and lord of the gods, sensed the absence of the south wind and summoned Adapa to his celestial throne. Ea, concerned for the safety of his protege, went to Adapa and warned him of the dangers he would face on his journey to the heavens. "Listen carefully, Adapa, for your life is at stake," said Ea. "Anu will offer you divine food and drink, but you must refuse them at all costs. If you consume even a morsel, you will never again be able to return to the land of mortals." He also instructed him that he should dress in mourning garments and take with him a gift of oil to anoint Tammuz and Geshida, the guardians of the gates of heaven. These gestures of respect and remembrance would ensure that the guardians would speak favorably of him before Anu. Adapa nodded solemnly, etching each word in his mind. He knew that defying the gods carried immense risk, but his courage and trust in Ea were immutable. After bidding farewell to Ea and with his heart pounding, Adapa set out on the journey to the heavenly abodes. Although he had faced challenges before, nothing had prepared him for the experience that awaited him. Each step he took him further away from the earthly world he knew, into a realm where mortals rarely set foot. The path ascended steep hills and deep valleys, winding through ethereal landscapes that defied the imagination. The air grew colder and thinner, making it difficult to breathe. However, Adapa was undeterred, driven by his courage and determination to face his destiny. As he advanced, he began to perceive invisible presences that seemed to watch him from the shadows. Indecipherable whispers echoed in his ears, sending shivers down his spine. Adapa knew he was entering sacred territory, where gods and celestial beings dwelled. Finally, after a long and strenuous journey, Adapa spotted the huge celestial gates that marked the threshold to the divine realm. There, 3 imposing figures awaited him: Anu, the ruler of the heavens, and Dumuzi and Gishida, the guardians of the gates. Adapa, armed with Ea's advice, appeared before Anu. The celestial guardians, Dumuzi and Gishida, impressed by Adapa's respect and memory for them, allowed him to pass and spoke favorably of him before Anu. Once in the presence of the supreme god, Adapa was adamant in his decision to reject the divine offer, a choice that would define the fate of mankind. When Adapa arrived before Anu, the guardians Dumuzi and Gishida, moved by his respect and memory, interceded on his behalf. They explained to Anu that Adapa, endowed with omniscience by Ea, needed only immortality to become a god. Adapa, his heart brimming with doubt and fear, appeared before Anu, the supreme god, in his majestic celestial palace. Light radiated from his throne, temporarily blinding the mortal. Anu watched Adapa from on high, assessing every detail of his being. In a resonant voice, he reproached him for his disrespect for the south wind, reminding him of his place as a mere mortal. Adapa, trembling but with his head held high, apologized for his outburst, arguing that the wind had put him in danger and that his anger was understandable. Anu, unmoved, reminded him that anger was a human feeling, alien to the divine nature. He warned him that his lack of control had put him in a dangerous situation and that he must now answer for his actions. At that moment, a celestial servant approached Anu with 2 golden trays. On one of them were 2 loaves of bread, one made of common earth and the other of celestial wheat, golden and aromatic. On the other tray were 2 wine goblets, one filled with a dark red, earthy liquid and the other with a celestial wine, golden and transparent in color. Anu, with a cruel smile, offered Adapa bread and wine of each type, telling him that it was a celestial custom to offer food and drink to visitors. Adapa, confused and distrustful, looked to Ea for guidance. Ea, from a distance, whispered to Adapa not to eat or drink of the earthly but to take of the heavenly. Adapa, hesitating between the 2 options and feeling Anu's pressure, went to the trays. His hands trembled as he took the heavenly bread and the cup of golden wine. At that precise moment, Anu looked at him and said, "Take and eat, Adapa, and become immortal like the gods." Adapa, his heart pounding, was about to put the bread in his mouth when Ea shouted to him from a distance, "Do not eat or drink of earthly bread and wine, for they are mortal food. But if they offer you heavenly bread and wine, you may take them, for they will bestow upon you wisdom and divine knowledge." Adapa, confused and tormented by the contradictory words of Anu and Ea, looked from one to the other. Immortality, a dream he had longed for all his life, was within his grasp. But at the same time, the thought of losing his humanity, of ceasing to be who he was, filled him with dread. With tears in her eyes, Adapa made the most difficult decision of her life. She dropped the heavenly bread and set aside the cup of golden wine. She looked at Anu with determination and said, "I cannot eat or drink of the heavenly, O great God. I do not want to lose my humanity. I would rather live my mortal life with wisdom and humility than attain immortality at the cost of my essence." Anu, surprised by Adapa's decision, frowned. He could not believe that a mere mortal had refused such a precious gift. However, he also felt great admiration for Adapa's bravery and wisdom. With a gesture of disdain, Anu ordered his guards to expel Adapa from the celestial palace. Adapa, His head held high and his heart filled with sadness, bade farewell to Anu and descended back to earth, knowing that he would never attain immortality, but that he had gained something more valuable, the wisdom to accept his mortal destiny with dignity and fortitude. However, this decision had consequences not only for Adapa, but for the entire human race. By rejecting immortality, Adapa rejected the opportunity for humans to live eternally like the gods. Adapa, heartbroken at the loss of immortality, descended from heaven to earth. As she walked away from the heavenly palace, she contemplated the vastness of the universe, sensing the immensity of her mortal destiny. Anu's words echoed in his mind. "Your decision surprises me, Adapa. You have refused a gift that many gods would long for, but your courage and wisdom command my respect. You have proven yourself a mortal worthy of admiration." Upon arriving in Eridu, his hometown, Adapa was greeted with a mixture of joy and concern by its inhabitants. They told him stories of natural disasters and diseases that had struck the region in his absence, attributing them to the wrath of the gods for his defiance of Anu. Adapa, with the wisdom he had acquired on his celestial journey, understood that these misfortunes were not divine punishment, but the natural consequence of the cycles of life and death. Adapa, with the weight of responsibility on his shoulders, decided to share his knowledge with his people. He taught them to observe the stars, to predict the seasons, and to cultivate the land efficiently. He passed on to them the importance of harmony with nature and respect for the gods. His wisdom and leadership transformed Eridu into a prosperous and peaceful city. Despite missing the opportunity for immortality, Adapa found peace and contentment in his mortal life. He became a spiritual guide for his people, inspiring them to live with wisdom, humility, and respect for the gods and nature. Adapa died surrounded by his loved ones, leaving behind a legacy of wisdom and peace. This video has been created for Myths Comics. Thanks for joining us in a new adventure. See you next time.